Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. And today we're going to have um, conversations with me, Heidi. And we're going to be starting in about 3 minutes. So if you want to put in the chat box where you're from, where you're streaming in from, um, and let's start having a conversation. But before I start at 10 o'clock, grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, whatever your preference is, and then we're going to have a conversation. Well, I'm a little anxious, so probably going to start it right now. Today's topic is how comparing myself to others nearly stopped me. And this is a topic that, everybody has this, especially when you're starting to do, videotaping yourself and getting on social media and marketing yourself and just trying to get yourself out there, a form of marketing, as I said. And it's scary. It is darn scary. We know, whether you're an artist, whether you've been doing this for a long time, whether you are just beginning, whether you are just doing it as a hobby, it's still scary. And especially as we get older, things we're not as fearless. You know, at my age, we're not. I know for myself, I'm not as fearless as I would have been if I was younger and knew a lot about technology. Because back in the day, we didn't have computers; we just had um, typewriters. So, if many of you probably already know that. So today we're going to talk about the comparison trap many artists face, and and I'm one of them. I'm one of them. So without further ado, let's get started. Have you ever looked at another artist's work on social media, YouTube channel, and thought, what if? What if? What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't do it? What if, many what ifs. I've been there. I've done it. And another question, why would anyone watch me when there are people so much better than I am? I've had that. I've had that issue too. And that was pretty scary when you go into that trap. Have you ever experienced someone telling you you weren't good at doing art? Well, I have a couple of memories on that one, and I will tell you later. And the other topic is, part of this is, how can social media affect creative confidence? And that's all part of comparing, comparing yourself and not having that confidence. And you're good. You know that you've got something valuable to say. We all have our own style and our own unique voice. And why not get it out there? But again, it takes a process before you can even get it out there. And that's a process I went through. And why comparing your beginning to someone else's success? Why? Why compare yourself, their success, when you're starting out, and this person's been doing it probably for 10, 20 years, or they've just been doing it for 5 years, or they've been doing it for a year, and they're further ahead because they showed up and they did it. And that's the key, is just doing it. As scary as it can be, just doing it. I'm scared. Hey, I get nervous before I do a podcast. And I started my podcast on Wednesday and I was nervous. And today I'm a little bit more comfortable, but still, you get nervous and trying to get your message out there. And how to focus your creative journey with confidence. It took me a long time to gain that confidence and to also believe in myself. Believing in yourself that you can do it is a big thing. And that is something that I had to work hard at. And it didn't come easy with me. It really did not. So if you've experienced this, you're not alone. And just know that on my platform, I don't I don't push anybody. I encourage people to just do it, and just to especially with art, doing art. Art is a form of meditative actions. So when you're doing art, you're meditating. When you are doing art, you're relaxing and you're practicing. So you don't have to follow somebody else. Follow yourself. Do what's right. Listen to your gut. Listen to what's inside of you. And bring your inner child out. Your inner child, when you were a little girl, you were fearless. You enjoyed coloring. You colored outside the lines. Who cares? It was art. You drew funky pictures. Who cares? That was art. But many art teachers don't realize that. They have a structure and they go with that structure. And that was something, as a self-taught artist, I did not want to be structured in. I had my own voice. And I did not want someone to say, you have to follow me. Well, you can't follow somebody else's voice. You really can't. Your voice is unique. My voice is unique. Your friend's voice is unique. Everybody is unique. But doing it is the key. That is the key. So when I compared myself to others, nearly stopped me from starting my YouTube channel. Oh, I was scared. I was scared. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. And today I want to talk about how comparison can quietly steal your creativity and what finally helped me to move past it. That's coming up. The other thing is that if you love my conversations, please click the link below in the description and join my community. Sign up for my newsletter. It's free. And, just sign up for it. You'll get the recap of today's episode. You'll get creative inspirations. You will also get, another, a blurb of what my next podcast is going to be. So you'll always stay informed. And this way here, you can join me the next time. That would be lovely. So who the heck am I? What makes me the expert? Well, my name is Heidi. I am a versatile self-taught artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. I founded Heidi's Artistic Designs. And under Heidi's artistic designs, if I can talk, I have the scavenger palette from pantry to nature. And those episodes are on Wednesday. And that's when I take different topics for showing you that your supplies are in the pantry, they're out in nature, everywhere. So you don't have to run to the store and get all your supplies unless you need, certain supplies. Yes, do it. But majority of the supplies you can get from your pantry and and out in nature. So Wednesdays, that is that. And Saturdays, I am focusing on creative conversations where I tell my story. And I hope that one day you can come and tell me your story. And if you don't feel like you can do it, you can easily put it in the comments. You can easily, email me. My email address is in my newsletter. And you can personally email me and tell me your story. I'd love to hear it. You can also go on my website. My website is heidisartisticdesigns.com. And you can always find me. You can email me there too. And you can also sign up for my newsletter on there too. And I have content and everything on there. So you can join me there too as well. And my creative platform is built around my motto, where creativity unfolds naturally. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be, anything. You just have to enjoy, relax, breathe it in, listen to the birds, listen to the ocean, listen to whatever. I have bird music on the background, and I love listening to the birds. Before I started my YouTube channel, I spent a lot of time watching other creators. I saw their beautiful artwork. I saw their professionally edited videos. I saw large subscriber accounts. And instead of feeling inspired, I started comparing myself. The mistake I made was believing that I had to be at their level before I could begin. I compared my beginning to their years of experience. And really, that's not what you need to do. What you need to do is just start. And that was something I had to grow into. And it can easily say, yeah, just start. But there was a process. And it was a process that I had no idea what I was doing. So we're going to talk. I'm going to share that in a moment. Eventually, I realized something important. I had enough. I had enough. I had it on my bucket list. I was talking about it to a friend of mine. I was talking about it for years. I wanted to do a YouTube channel. I wanted to do it. And I had it on my bucket list. And finally, I said, enough's enough. I need to do this. I do not want to be sitting in a rocking chair at 90 years old saying, I could have. I had the capability. I'm not a stupid woman. I'm pretty intelligent. I could have done it. But why didn't I? And the magic word was fear. Fear kept me stuck. Fear of the unknown. So what I decided to do, I punched fear in the face and I went for it. And when you do that, doors open up, opportunities open up. You can't, it's amazing. It's amazing on the opportunities And my journey that got me here to doing a podcast. If someone said to me, last year, you going to do a podcast? I would say, oh, heck no. It was scary, the thought of it last year. But this year, I said, no, I need to get it off my bucket list. I'm not going to be 20 tomorrow. I'm getting older. But I have a wealth of information. And my strategy, my work, everything I do is very unique. It's not the same as others. And I had to see that. I had to see it. And I had to continue telling myself, I can do it. And I realized every artist starts somewhere. Every YouTube creator starts at 0 with no subscribers. Every successful artist was once a beginner. And that is true. And that's why with my videos, I keep that in mind. Because there are people out there, even if you've been an artist for years, doing Zentangle is very different. And it's a different concept. Or doing steampunk art, or doing, taking things from the basics is very different. And this is what I want to share it with everybody. But it's very, very different. And for me to be stuck in that fear, it was mind-blowing. I look back on it and I think, man, I could be further ahead, yes, but it wasn't my time. I had to be confident. I had to be, I had to know that I could do it. And it took me a while, but I got there. And instead of asking, am I good enough? I started asking myself, do you love teaching art? My answer was yes, 100% yes. I felt it was time to share my teaching methods, my tips, my tricks that I had learned over the years. Within each of my YouTube videos and now on my podcasts. I knew I had something to offer. And I had to start believing in myself instead of seeing what was not possible. I started envisioning what was possible. I then asked myself, why should I be afraid to follow my passion and see where it leads me? That simple shift in my thinking, my mindset, changed everything. Now, the consequences of not following this way is that we stay trapped in the comparison and we never start. We just stay put. If we stay trapped in that belief that we must be perfect, oh, I was there. We will never begin. Then we don't create, share, or even grow in our craft, in our life. We sit on our ideas, waiting for permission that never comes. Comparison keeps us focused on what others are doing instead of developing our own creative voice and style. We're all different. And as I said earlier, we're all different. And we have our unique voice. We have it. We have it. You just have to dig deep and find it and realize that it's okay. And the benefits the benefits of doing this. When we stop comparing ourselves with others and start focusing on our journey, we begin to create more. We gain confidence and begin to have fun in what we're doing. We don't look at it as a job. I don't look at this as a job. I look at it as a way of life. It's fun. I'm having a great time doing this. Then we grow in our craft by honing in our talent, by showing others what we can do, and showing them that it's okay. You know, if I can do it, you can do it. We enjoy the creative process while having fun, either painting, drawing, and or sketching. Now, when I go to the doctor's office, I take a pad with me and I'm constantly sketching. I'm constantly doing some form of art, whether it's drawing flowers or doing Zentangle or drawing a tree. Yeah, I do anything because I love it. We then discover our unique voice and creative style. I can't say that enough because we do. We discover it. And things start coming into place. We begin to see what matters to us. How exciting it is when you finally let go of the fear of what you can't do and discover what you can do. And those doors opening up. It's awesome. It's totally awesome. New doors to creative outlet begin opening up in ways we never thought possible. And it's true. It's been opening up for me, and it's doing it every day. Because what you wind up doing is you wind up being more in tune with somebody else, what their comments are. I had a comment from a lady who wanted to know about art supplies because she didn't have much money. And when I do supply lists on my other podcasts and on my Zentangle videos, I always keep in mind of folks who can't, afford a lot but want certain tools. And I always try to keep the prices down because I look for tools that I buy, but I don't go out and buy expensive unless I'm doing shows. Unless I'm doing doing shows and I'm selling, and I have to make sure that my work doesn't fade over time because my work is being priced at a certain price. And I don't want that person coming back to me 10 years later saying, well, I can't see the drawing. It disappeared on me. I try to make sure that looks good. But when you're starting out, you don't really need it. You don't really need the bells and the whistles. You can later, as you build, as you gain confidence, as you find a medium that you enjoy. Creativity unfolds naturally when we permit ourselves to begin, when we give ourselves permission to start, when we knock that fear out and we give ourselves permission to start. It is such a wonderful feeling. It really is. When I was a little girl, I used to take cartoons from the newspapers, and I used to pull out my drawing pad and I began mimicking the cartoons. I enjoyed drawing and coloring, and I got really good at mimicking those cartoons. Now, back in the day, there was no light box. There was no, you couldn't, put the black on the back, take the pencil and scribble in the back and try to, and draw it out that way because you got words on the back and it would be a mess. But I didn't. I mimicked. I put that cartoon right beside me and I copied it and I mimicked that cartoon. And that's how I love doing illustrations because that's how I learned. I taught myself to do that and I loved it and I had a great time doing it. But one day in grade school, I was a very shy girl, very shy. Oh my God. I get intimidated very easily. I get my confidence goes down into the toilet very, very easily because I was always very shy. I was just extremely, extremely shy. And I remember one day my art teacher said to me, "You're not very good at art." I was heartbroken when I heard that. I was heartbroken and it stung. And it stung because it was said in front of my classmates. It wasn't said privately. It was said in front of my classmates. And that made me even feel small. How many of you felt that way? You know, how many of you have been told that at a young age that you're not good at it? Let me know in the comments. Let me know and let me know and tell me. Let's start a conversation and tell me how how did it make you feel? It stung. Then later in college, we're going to jump many years later here. In college, I had to, I was graduating and I had to take an art class because I needed 3 more credits to graduate. And I was like right at the end, last semester, right at the end. And I was right there. I needed to get those 3 credits. There was no wiggle room at all. So I took an art class because I had hefty classes and I thought art would be, a good release, be a good release mechanism. So I took an art class and when I joined it, they had already started the classes and I came in on the 4th class. Well, she wasn't a happy camper, the teacher. She was not happy at all. And she made it very well known to me that she was not happy. But I told her, I said, I needed to, I'm graduating. I needed this class. And I love art. So I said I wanted to take it. So I was, trying to let her know I wanted to take it. It wasn't because I was looking for an easy way out. I just wanted to take it because I liked art. So anyway, one day, one class, we had to do figure drawing. Well, yours truly is not very good at figure drawing. I'm not good at it at all. She didn't really show any techniques on it or not. And what she did was she had a live model and she says, "Well, draw this person." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And many of us, you're talking about stick figures. Well, that kind of came out like one because I'm not good at it. And she did tell me later that I was not good at art. And that was fine at that time because I knew I wasn't good at figure drawing. I wasn't good at it. I loved landscaping. I liked doing other things. Have me draw grass or trees or flowers or pine cones or twigs, whatever, and I'm in my element. You put a model in front of me and I'm totally lost. That takes a lot of practice to do figure drawing. It really does. And I was kind of sad at that time that she really didn't show how to do it. And she just, put it on us. And a lot of the classmates knew how to do figure drawing. They had some sense of it where I did not. And so I was well aware of that at that time. But again, I went with it. And I just did it. And I did the best job I could. And that's the way I did. But I did graduate. So I just wanted to end that story. I did get the credits and I did graduate. I wasn't crazy about the teacher, but I did graduate. And I did report her because she was not very kind to me. And in art, we need to be kind to each other, because art is art, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what type of art you do. It doesn't matter how crazy it comes out. And a lot of the there are good portrait artists. I'm more of an landscaper and illustrator and abstract. I'm more of that area. I have to really practice, figure drawing to doing it. I really have to practice that. And then I stopped drawing for many years. I stopped doing it for many years because I was raising my kids, and I had, life got in the way. But then in 2010, well, I began taking care of my dad in 2008. But in 2010, I lived in Nashua, New Hampshire, and I still live in New Hampshire. And I was watching New Hampshire Chronicle, and there was a gal on there that was showing techniques on Zentangle. And what Zentangle is taking shapes and making a design out of shapes. Now, everybody can draw lines, circles, triangles, squares, but that's what I did. And I did all of that. And then I was watching her, and I was fascinated. And I pulled out after the show, I thought I could do this. So I went online, took my sketch pad, went online, grabbed a pencil, and I started designing. And what came out too was my first design was I call it a Zen mobile. I took a car and I draw a mobile car, and then I put patterns inside, and it came out pretty darn good. And that's what started me to really get into drawing. And I have been an artist since 2010. And I did a lot of, and then later that year, I exhibited that year and the year after, I exhibited, I exhibited at 2 different libraries. I also taught caregivers, because I was a caregiver to my dad. I taught other caregivers, and I taught seniors at a senior center. So I did all of this. And the seniors are pretty good because, they're funny, because you show them a style, and then they do it their own way. And 9 out of 10, boy, and I'll tell you what, it comes out much better than mine. So I was always saying to them, oh my God, they would apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. I said, don't worry about it. Yours is better than mine, I'd tell them. And that's how I, talk to people. You're better than mine, so don't worry about it. And, you don't have to be perfect. And I developed that. And you'd think I wouldn't be afraid doing YouTube videos because of that mindset, but I was. And then I started doing the Nashua Art Walk. I started doing that. And I always didn't feel like an artist right at the get-go. It took me about 6 years. And when a reporter came and saw my work and saw how versatile I was, and which I still am, and at that time, he did an interview with me, and I had a picture of myself and along with my artwork, and I was elated. I was like flying high. I thought this was the cat's meow. I am finally made it. I am finally an artist. And from then on, I considered myself an artist. Even though I was an artist prior to, but it was that moment in time I felt like an artist. And the day after that, I was in the newspaper. Oh, that was a big thing too. I have it all cut out. I still have it. And then the next day, it was a 2-day thing. And this was on a Saturday. And then on a Sunday, I got my picture taken with my artwork for the city of Nashua. And I was like flying high. I didn't make many sales, but boy, I'll tell you what, the advertisement was great because people kept coming up to me and said, I saw you in the newspaper. And I thought, oh my God, this is just, I was lapping that up. I thought that was pretty darn good. Then in 2022, I became a Zentangle teacher. I did this online. I couldn't go to the place because it was too far away, because at that time I moved from Nashua up to the White Mountains. And then as time went on, again, I'm going to repeat myself again, that I had it on my bucket list. I was telling friends I wanted to do a YouTube channel, but I was lost. I had no idea how to get started. And even though I was following Meredith Marsh, I was following her, I was listening to her, I was doing everything, but I was not ready. I was not ready to take that plunge. And the more I compared myself to others, the more I talked myself out of doing my channel. Fear began to creep in and stopped me in my tracks. I kept dreaming about doing a channel. I even put it in my bucket list, as I said, talk to a friend. Still, that fear kept me paralyzed. I wanted to do a channel, but didn't know how. I put barriers in my way, and those were invisible barriers I put in my way, and didn't realize that's what I was doing. I had no idea how to edit a video. Once I videotaped myself teaching videos, I didn't know what platform to use, nothing. And then I think, I didn't know what platform. Then after following Meredith for years, and I began watching her videos, and I started putting the YouTube channel together. I started at the back end, started doing the YouTube channel. Once I got it done, then I did some research, and I found a video. I didn't want, because there's so many video editors out there that want an arm and a leg. They just want, they want you to spend all this money. And I didn't want to get into it. I wanted something that I could use, that I didn't have to spend a lot of money to learn how to use it. And I wanted to learn, and then later I would do that. I would, get the premium if I needed to. So I did some research online, and I found a video program, recording program. I found the OBS Studio. That's a free program, and it's awesome. It's got a lot of bells and whistles to it, and you can get the premium, but everything you need for the basics is perfect. You don't need anything more than that. And then once I learned how to do the basics and doing the videos, it was so much fun. But it took me a little bit. It took me a little bit to get the hang of it and to learn. But once I did, it was great. And then I found another program to do the editing, and it was DaVinci Resolve 20. And I put that on my laptop, and I'll tell you what, it was great, because that again is free, but you can get the premium if you want the extra bells and whistles, but you have enough to get started, and you have enough to what you need to do. And those two programs, I learned how to do it. And with DaVinci Resolve, you can eventually be certified and be able to teach others with it. And down the road, that I might do it. But right now, I needed to focus on getting my videos done, and I needed to do it. And I kept hearing too from Meredith and from others that you don't need to be perfect anymore. It's not like back in the day, years ago, that you had to be, everything had to be just so, everything had to be just right. Nowadays, just be yourself. And yeah, and I put up my first videos I put up, they're not perfect, but I did it. And that's what I was proud of myself. I was scared and excited at the same time. Once I did that plunge, once I took that plunge and did it, I was scared. And I was like, oh my God, nobody's not going to watch me. Oh, but it was great. I started getting subscribers. I started sharing the word, and I still need to do a little bit more marketing. But, I'm getting watched and I'm getting found. And that is really exciting. So now, as I continue doing my videos, I began to realize that I didn't want to be boxed in as a Zentangle teacher. I kind of wanted to branch out a little bit because I knew Zentangle was, everybody's doing Zentangle. A lot of videos out there on Zentangle, and I didn't want to get lost in the shuffle. So I wanted to develop a different platform for myself. And that's when I began thinking I love doing steampunk, did some research on steampunk, realized there wasn't a lot of stuff done regarding steampunk art. And I thought, well, even if there was, I was still going to do it because I'll put my twist onto it. So that is going to be another video section that I'm going to be working on too, is the steampunk. But then, as I said earlier, I had a friend that asked me about, art supplies. The lady asked me about art supplies, and she didn't have much money, and that's where the scavenger palette came in. So I put that in there. Now, having another idea, doing the creative conversations. So I branched. Now, I wouldn't have branched out like this if I sat down and did nothing. All these came out because I was willing and open to allowing myself to be vulnerable, authentic, and being out there. And that's what you need to do. And again, I know it's easier said than done. Believe me, I know. You have to want it bad enough. And really, I wanted it bad enough. And the more I learned, the more I'm growing. And that is what's so exciting about my journey. If I hadn't punched fear in the face, started my YouTube channel, building up on my art website, I wouldn't have found my direction that I love, that I am excited about. It would have been gone. I would have been sitting there like, many of us do, trapped in that fear. And looking for answers, looking for ways to make money like now. Well, you can't make money like now. It doesn't work that way. You need to work at it, and you need to build it, and you need to grow, and you need to find your direction, and you need to find your ideas and when you find your ideas, and you need to be open, and you need to be willing, and you need to be kind to yourself. Please, if you're going to start doing videos or you're going to start doing something, be kind to yourself, because that's what's important, is being kind to yourself. Problem is that comparison causes self-doubt and fears. When we compare ourselves to others and we see how well they do it, do you think that they come on the video and they do it perfectly the first time, or when they do their video, pre videos, that they do it perfect. No, no, they have to practice what they're doing first. Some can do it, wing it, and do it right then and there. But for myself, I practice. So that way I have a finished product when I'm showing you the finished product, and showing you at the beginning that finished product. And then at the end, you see the end product. It can stop you. Self-doubt and fear can stop you from moving forward with what you love to do, you're passionate about. You have the gift. You have those gifts. Artistry is, you're not born with it, really. It's something you acquire, something you nurture. I mean, I wasn't born to do portraits. I wasn't born to do that. But it was over time, and it was with practicing, that I love doing illustrations, that I love doing the landscaping, that I love doing, the steampunk, and love doing the Zentangle. Those took time. And the solution to this is focus on your own creative growth instead of measuring yourself against others. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. I'm good at what I do. I want you to be good at what you do. Show your voice. Don't be afraid. Do it. It took a long time for me to do it. It took a long time for me to punch fear and self-doubt and everything in the face. I did it. And I've been happier ever since I've done it. I wouldn't be here today talking about this if I didn't punch fear in the face. If I didn't punch self-doubt in the face, I wouldn't be here. The new problem is the comparison never completely disappears. No, it doesn't. You have to work at it. You really do. It can be a struggle if you allow it to be. But I choose not to. I choose not to allow that comparison anymore. And I constantly remember, and I constantly tell myself, you're good at what you do. Don't doubt that. You love what you do. Don't doubt that. You have wealth of information to share. You are unique in your own right. That's what you got to tell yourself. And even today, artists can still fall into that comparison trap of trying to be perfect. And I do fall into that. Oh gosh, yes. But I have to remind myself, stop. There are ways around it. What we used to do and what we do now is two different things. And you work around what you can do and let the rest fall. Because what you can do is probably a lot better than what you used to do. The difference is learning to recognize it and redirect your focus back to your own creative journey by finding ways to avoid falling down that rabbit hole of not taking your dream to the next level. I could have continued down that rabbit hole. Boy, it was comfortable down there, but it didn't get me very far. It did not get me very far at all. And I'd rather be above the rabbit hole. And I'd rather be out here talking to you folks, letting you know that you're not alone. We're all in it together. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love for you guys. I'm hoping you watch this video, you get something out of it, and you send me, start a conversation in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But remember to be kind to one another, because that's my platform, is being kind to one another. Don't be rude. Don't be crude. Be kind. Because artistry is very different. We as artists, we love what we do. Whether you're a hobby artist, whether you are someone that's been doing it for years, whether you're just beginning, we all need kindness. And that's what we need. Thing I would love to hear from you is, have you ever compared yourself to another artist or a creator? Has compassion ever stopped you from sharing your work or pursuing your creative dream? It did me for many years. It did me until I punched it. Share your experience in the comments below. And if this conversation resonates with you, be sure to subscribe and join me for future creative conversations with me, Heidi, as we explore creativity, confidence, and challenges artists face along with their creative journey. So please click the link below and join me on Wednesdays where we do art and I demonstrate it. And in the video, in the newsletter too, on Wednesdays, whatever we start and I don't finish, I finish it later and I put it up in the newsletter so you can see the finished product. You will always see the finished product on that. And then come to me on Saturdays. So we have the creative conversation. Now, next Wednesday, I will be talking about not gel pens. Oh God, not gel pens. Quill pens. I'll be talking about quill pens, the portable kind and the old-fashioned kind. The kind that George Washington and many of them used back in the day and dipped it in the ink. We're going to do paint wash. We're going to have fun. So I'm going to show you different techniques on that. And remember, there are no mistakes in art, only creations. And creativity unfolds naturally, one step, one line at a time. So I am so happy that you could be with me today. And I am so happy that you can join me. And together, we're going to conquer and we're going to persevere. So you have a great day. Have a fantastic day. And I will see you next Wednesday. Bye now.